All right, but today is Tuesday, September 18th. A little bit slower today, a little bit slower. No trades for myself, as you know. But we started off very hot. We started off insanely hot, actually. And when did it start off? Going back to this morning, VKTX. VKTX best place so far today. It was in pre-market, and the best place so far was at 7:30 in the morning. The stock went from 1450, actually got halted from around 1050, opened up around 1450, and went all the way up to 15, 16, 17, 19, 22, 23, 25, and all the way up towards $28. This was the best spike so far today, and a huge spike so far today. Over a $15 move. Very profitable. Now, this stock was very quick as well. I'm not saying it was easy to get into. I'm not saying I was in on this play. I didn't have any funds available today. So it's easy for me to say, oh, VKTX, big time spike, everyone should have banked. It's easy to say that. But I understand, that it was very fast. I understand it was a very quick play. This thing spiked from around $15 all the way up to $28 in the matter of, 3 to 4 minutes. To get in on this play, you would have to limit order much higher than the current price and then have the stock run into that limit order. Now, why would that be tough to do? Well, because you're putting a limit order up, rather high for the stock to be able to run up and hit it. And with that being said, you may be getting in on a price that's, at the highest point. If the stock goes from $10, gaps up to $15, starts going to $16, $17, $18, and now you just put a buy limit order at $19, you're putting it up pretty high. It may just hit $19 and crash all the way back down. I understand that. But it's just great to see that VKTX did go on a big time rip from, this area of $11 or $10 all the way up to highs of $28. It was awesome to see. I was awake for it. As I said, I didn't have any funds available since I traded yesterday, but it was awesome, and it was a great time rip. If you could have gotten in on it, you would have made some big time bank, but it does come down to, what I've been saying, sacrifice sleep for profit. If someone came up to me and woke me up at 7 in the morning and says, hey, if you wake up right now, I'll give you $1,000. I'd wake up every single day at 7 a.m. And that's how I like to think about it. Do I like to wake up at 7:15 or 7 a.m. every single day? Not really. No, I love sleep. Sleeping's like one of my favorite things to do. It's awesome. I enjoy it so much. But I'm here to be able to make a living on the stock market. And sometimes the best plays are going to happen at 7:30. And sometimes the best plays are going to happen at 9 in the morning. And sometimes the best plays could happen at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just because, right now could be a little slow doesn't mean the afternoon is going to be slow. Just because pre-market was slow doesn't mean after hours is going to be slow. Just because lunch hours are slow doesn't mean, the morning's going to be slow. It all depends. Every single moment is different. That's why I'm here all day. I definitely understand the concept of, okay, you're a day trader. You could trade for 5 minutes and then go out and do whatever you want. Yes, you can do that. And some days you definitely can. Where if you wake up at 7 in the morning and you nailed this spike and you made a few $1,000s, go back to bed and go and enjoy your day. But then a lot of times you are going to have to stick around all day and say, hey, you know what? Okay, a little bit of slowness here. I have to wait until the afternoon now to look for a possible play. If you want to do it for a living, if you want to be a full-time trader, if you guys want to be able to actually have a real salary as a trader, you guys are going to have to do what? You guys are going to have to act like this is a full-time job, right? People say, oh, Dek, why can't I go full-time? Well, again, how much time do you spend day trading? Like 15 minutes a day. Well, again, that's not going to be. Now, I definitely understand, if you nail a big-time trade, go out and enjoy your day. And that's part of the freedom of being a day trader. But to have this as a full-time job, you have to act as it's a full-time job. Put in the work as it's a full-time job. Stick around like it's a full-time job. You probably have your full-time job right now, and there's probably some things that you don't want to do. Maybe you don't want to, stay until 4 o'clock. Maybe you don't want to do that extra paperwork. Maybe you're not, excited every single day. But again, that's part of work sometimes. There's many opportunities. There's many benefits. There's amazing perks about being a trader, but you got to be willing to put in the work, and you got to be able to sacrifice a lot of time. You got to sacrifice a lot of sleep, and you got to sacrifice, put in a lot of work ethic, hard work to be able to get to that level that you guys want to get to. Right now, I do want to talk about VKTX. Why did the stock go on a big time rip? Why did the stock go on a big time climb? It did come out with one of the best press releases there are. And what was that? That came out with positive phase 2 trials. Best words to look for: positive phase 2, positive phase 3, achieved endpoints, has improvements on our drug studies, anything like that. Those are some of the best press releases that you guys can find in the market. And what do we have here? VKTX. If we look at this, let me right there. VKTX September 18th came out at 7:05 a.m. Announces positive top of the line results on its phase 2 study. Just reading that, put some shivers down my back. Because you can get some big time rips and big time climbs, as you guys see right here. And what we see is that we are demonstrating statistically significant reductions. So, that is great. We're demonstrating statistically, our facts and significant, which is important, in reductions of our LDC compared to just straight placebo effect. We look into this proof of concept study demonstrates a robust improvement in liver fat other than a placebo. And again, placebo is just, you think it's all in your head. Previous studies, we have shown a 30% or greater reduction in MRI PDFF. So we're seeing a 30% reduction from these phase 2 studies, which is, a very great thing. So right when this came out, VKTX, with the pre-market, with the spread, with the volume that all rushed into it, boom, giant rip, giant spike. This thing was up huge this morning. Now the stock is still up, rather big. VKTX is sitting right now, right at its open at around $20 per share, which is absolutely fine. People are like, oh, VKTX, why is this not spiking? VKTX, why is this not ripping? Positive phase 2 trials. Yeah, you got to think the stock right now is still up 100%. The stock went from $10 and it's still sitting at $20. A lot of people are like, oh, why did the stock, not continue to spike on up? The stock is still up $10 from where it was yesterday. It's still up huge at the moment. Now, with that being said, I understand why would the stock be coming back down to the red side. The gap up was just so big. When you have a big time gap up, you get a lot of shorters, you get a lot of sellers, but it still does have phase 2 positive trials right here, which could lead to some very big profit in the future. I showed you guys that example, ALDX. ALDX, there was one that happened a few weeks ago that I'm just blanking out on, but it looks exactly like this. And ALDX, what is this pattern? Well, you guys can see on ALDX, and as I said, I wish that little buy arrow wasn't here, that Trade Ideas puts it. But what do we have right here? We have this red candle that drops the stock. So we have a red candle, came out with positive phase 2 trials. Stock went from $4, spiked all the way up towards around $8, right? About 100% move. Now the stock starts coming back on down. Then why? It had positive phase 2 trials, but it had such a big gap up. Next day, little doji star. Then the day after that, big time buying volume. Was there any news this day? No, but it still had positive phase 2 trials, and everyone who sold, now the stock is ready to move on up. People got off the bus, and now the stock has continued to, ready to rock and roll to the upside. So if we look at VKTX today, VKTX, this stock could easily still have big time potential for the near future. We look at VKTX right here. What could we easily be seeing on this play? This play, if we look at it, this thing could finish all the way off on a red day right here if it wanted to, where we have basically our nice little drop right here. That's absolutely fine. Tomorrow, what could we see? We could see maybe a little bit of a gap up and a doji star, just like ALDX. And then the day after that, what do we start seeing? We start seeing the stock continue to move back on up to the upside as the stock, as basically that doji star indicates a trend reversal, and the stock continues to climb on up. Why? Because it has positive phase 2 trials. Right now, it's just having falling because we just had a $10 gap up. But this thing still has massive potential. This thing could still continue to run. This thing could still continue to rip, right? So I just want you guys to be ready for this, comparing past chart history patterns with the same press releases, with the same setups. This could happen in the future. This is why I study past chart history, because things that can happen in the past can easily happen again in the future. And this is why I always like to look at these and be ready for them. What else were we looking at today? We did see a little bit of interesting moves over on IPIC. Look at IPIC. Woo! That thing dumped on back on down. Look at IPIC. This thing went all the way from $7 all the way up to $10, $10.50, straight back down to $7. That's just a straight little pump and dump. So IPIC straight on up, straight back on down. Sometimes when things get a little slower, when things get a little bit slower, what do we see? We start seeing traders just be like, hey, this is a low float stock with a little bit of a spread. You want to buy this? Sometimes we see manipulation, right? Let's look at IPIC for a second. What do you mean by that manipulation? Well, we have IPIC with what? A 48-cent spread? Okay. So what happens? There's, let's say, 20 people hanging out in the same room right now. Someone goes, "Okay, guys, I'll buy the 500 shares at 850." They buy 850. Now the stock's at 850. So next guy, 19 people left. Okay, I'll buy the 100 shares at 873. Someone buys that. Now someone goes, okay, I'll buy the 100 shares at or 500 shares at 950. Now the stock's at 950. The other guy goes, okay, I'll buy the other 292 shares at 985. Someone buys that. Takes out, okay, I'll be the big boy here. I'll buy the 3,000 shares at 989. Now the stock's only back at 989. And sometimes they start doing that. What happens? It starts popping up on the high of the day momentum scanner. I see it. You see it. Let's say you say, oh, wow, the stock's moving on up. Nothing else is moving today. I'm going to buy it as well. Now you buy it. Now again, these original people who are in on it, you just bought it, and now they're making money off you. And now what happens? Now it pops up on the scanner because you bought it. And now someone else in the world says, "Well, okay, well now the stock's kind of picking up a little bit. I want to buy it before it stocks." And now they buy it. Now it pops on up. Now 4 people buy it at the same time, and now it starts moving a little bit. Now 10 people. Now it starts to take on off. Now we have 100 people. Now we have people giving alerts out. Now we have this and that, and now the stock's taking on off for no reason whatsoever other than the fact that it was just moving on up from a couple people trying to get something going. And then what happens? People will start saying to themselves, does anyone know why we're here right now? Does anyone know why the stock is up this high? I don't know. I just got in on because it was moving. Do you know why it's up? I don't know. You know why it's up? I don't know. And then the stock just starts turning back on down. I think there was like an episode like back in the day of like SpongeBob or something where there's like a huge fight and then they're all fighting each other and they're just like, wait a minute, why are we even fighting? It's like I don't really know. And then they're like, oh hey, never mind, I love you, man. Oh sorry about that. And then like they just like make up. It's like the same exact thing when I'm looking at these penny stocks. It's like sometimes you just go on some big giant rip and the majority of people don't even know why it's moving. And then they all look at each other and say, wait, why did we just spike $3? Do we have any news? I don't think so. Okay, well, I'm going to get out now. Yeah, well, I'm going to get out then. Well, I'm going to get out. And the whole entire thing just comes crashing back on down because it was up on fluff. It was up on no reason. So definitely be careful on those type of plays. Always have your credible reasoning, your on why you like certain plays, your credible reason on why stocks are taking off. RRTS, what's the reasoning right here? I don't believe it has any sort of news towards it, but just looking at the chart pattern alone, I can see it's breaking through one of the most popular indicators. September 12th, it had news yesterday morning. Wouldn't really count for the spike today. It did have a nice rip yesterday. So, I mean, what we have celebrates National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. Nice. And awards Driver of the Year. So, what we have here, I didn't even know that was a week. National Truck Driver Appreciation Week. Nice. Awards Driver of the Year. So RRTS did get a nice little pop yesterday. Break of the 13 EMA. Start getting a little bit more hype today. Slowly moving on up, slow and steady right now. But we really did not see any sort of crazy hype. We saw ADIL on a little bit of a move this morning. ADIL went from $3, actually spiked all the way up to where 386. Let me go back to a 1-minute time frame right here. It went from $3 up towards around 386. Same exact thing. ADIL, a little bit of a spread. And basically just trying to catch a little bit of hot volume. It did come out with a press release this morning as well, which definitely helped it with its credibility, which says it successfully passes a patent opposition period in Europe. Which the word successful is always a great keyword to look for in a hot press release. So having the word success definitely brings in some hype and attention. Wasn't the strongest press release, but it was enough on a low float stock to get things going a little bit. But once it started getting a little too high, people dumped it right on off. So you got to be careful on a day like today. Things are a little bit lighter. Things are a little bit slower. We're not seeing too much action. Today's the day I like to go over a little bit of recaps, talk about what we have seen so far today, and then really just dive into lessons. I want to make every single day productive to you. I want to make sure every single day you guys are getting in value out of your investment of being here, spending time here, having a membership here. That's what I want to make sure every single day you guys are learning constantly and being inside an environment where you are going to progress as a trader. So right here, again, going through our top gainers, RRTS. That's a stock right now that probably has some of the best potential. slowly moving on up. Again, break of the 13 EMA, truck week appreciation. We can't stop that one. RDCM, not really anything right there. IDIL had the nice little spike in the morning, came back down. Back above 360, you'll start getting a little bit of attention. TNXP, nothing. ICON getting held up at the 13 EMA right here. IPIC, big time move on up, big dump right back on down. IGC, this stock on the whole marijuana phase, the whole cannabis phase, that was IGC, CRON trying to make a little bit of a move. TLRY has been the big beast, slowly moving on up over the past month, $100. We're up about $120 now over the past month, so that's been crazy. Something I want you guys to watch in the future is going to be NIO. If NIO, I want NIO to be able to hold its gains. It is going to have a little bounce right here off, I guess the 13 EMA. We'll see if it can hold $8. Ultimately, I would want to see this back above $10 to really get that move. Back above $10 is where this thing could really take on off. Back above $10 on a big U-shaped pattern is where this stock could really bring in hot volume. But right now, we can't touch it. Right now, it's not worth your time. Right now, you can't get involved with it. So we are in a little bit of a standstill, a little bit of a snore fest at this time. We don't want to put ourselves in positions where we're just going to get hurt. We don't want to put ourselves in any positions where we're going to get emotional and trade for no reason. Sometimes it's great to trade. Sometimes it's great to sit on your hands and study. So that's kind of the position we are in right now. So good job for anyone who, maybe locked in some quick profit. And again, excellent job for anyone who just stayed disciplined enough not to trade, not to get involved, and just wait for a better play.